our former inductees that are in attendance. So we'll start by the first class. As we said earlier, this is the 20th class of inductees, and we'll start with the 2002 class. If we call your name, please stand so we can be recognized. From the initial class of 2002, we have John Kitchens, Coach John Kitchens, back there in the back, and Kim Looney. From the class of 2002. For anybody else here from the class of 2002, please stand. From the class of 2003, we have Dr. Andy Finley, back there in the back. And anyone here from the class of 2004? Don't think so. From the class of 2005, we have Thomas Raines and Gerald Thomas. Anyone else from the class of 2005? 2006, do we have anyone here from the class of 2006? And Laura here. Good to see you. From the class of 2007, Mike Little, Bruce Rooney, and Ken Tyler. Anyone else here from the class of 2007? The class of 2008, is there anyone here from the class of 2008? I believe so. Class of 2009, Dr. Butch Ferguson, over here, and Dr. Jackie Thrower. Okay. Anyone else here from the class of 2009? Class of 2010, do we have anyone here from that class? Class of 2011, Gil Bruce, in the back. Anyone else from the class of 2011? Class of 2012, Frank Baker and Stanley Howell. Anyone else from the class of 2012? Class of 2013, Norman Barnes, Nathan Cole, and Kim Ford. Anyone else here from the class of 2013? Class of 2014, do we have anyone here from that class? Class of 2015, Freddie Carr, Mike Horton, and Mike Schill. Anyone else from the class of 2015? Class of 2016, Rick Marsh. Anyone else from the class of 2016? Class of 2017, Connie Vaughn. Anyone else from that class? Class of 2018, Shannon Allen, Rick Mitchell. Anyone else here from the class of 2018? Class of 2019, Kenneth Adams. Anyone else from the class of 2019? And the class of 2020, Ken Gilliam. Anyone else here from the class of 2020? Let's have another round of applause for our previous inductees that are here. Next, we want to recognize our Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame board members. President is Shannon Allen. Vice President, Butch Ferguson. Treasurer, Frank Maston. I am Secretary, Bill Aaron. Stacy Anderson. Frank Baker, Jim Bradshaw, Johnny Harbison, Mike Little, Rick Marsh, Barry Mayhall, Kim George, Kevin Surratt, Mitch Shelton, Jeff Tully, David Watts, and Patrick Williams. That's our Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Board of Directors. We also want to say our special thanks to Dr. John Finley and his DAR High School Multimedia class for producing the videos you're going to see tonight, as well as recording the program tonight. All right. And without any further ado, let's get started with the first inductee.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022 inductee, Fred Buster Gross. Fred Buster Gross was born on November 26, 1935, in Gadsden, Alabama, to Fred and Claire Gross. Buster attended Emma Sansom High School in Gadsden, Alabama, where he became an outstanding football player for the Rebels. He received 1953 All-State honors from both the Birmingham News and the Montgomery Advertiser. After graduating from ESHS, Gross received a scholarship to play football under Coach Ralph Shug Jordan at the Alabama Polytechnic Institute, now Auburn University. He loved the game of football and was very competitive as a player. However, he received a career-ending neck injury during his sophomore year. Since Buster was planning to become a coach, Coach Jordan kept him on scholarship to work with the freshman team under Coach Dick McGowan. He was part of the coaching staff in 1957 when Auburn won their first national championship. Gross received a national championship ring and soon completed a bachelor's degree in education. Gross's first coaching job was at Southside High School in Etowah County. After an unsatisfying 4-6 record, he decided to go into retail sales for J.C. Penney department store. However, his love of the game was too strong, and Buster returned to coaching at Alma Henson Junior High in Attala for 2 years before taking the head coaching job at Walnut Grove High School in Etowah County in 1963. Over the next 3 years, Gross led the Patriots to a 29-1 record, which included the 1964 Class A state championship. He was also selected as the 1965 Class A Coach of the Year. Following the outstanding accomplishments at Walnut Grove, Coach Gross was offered and accepted the head coaching job at Arab High School in Marshall County. In Gross's first season, the Knights were 6-2-2, but that was only the start. Over his 7 years in Arab, the Knights had a 47-17-6 record and won 5 Marshall County championships. The high point of Gross's tenure in Arab was the 1970 season, as the Knights finished 9-1, including a 16-14 win over state powerhouse Tarrant High School. The 1972 Knights lost only 1 game en route to a 7-1-2 season. Following the 1972 season, Gross was lured back to his alma mater to become the head football coach at Emma Sansom High School. Over the next 19 years, Gross built the Rebels into a dynasty, compiling a record of 127, 73-4. In 1983, he led the Rebels to a 13-1 record and second place in the Class 3A rankings, losing only to Escambia County in the finals. This loss did not deter the Rebels as they returned to the finals the following year, beating Greenville High School 10-7 in overtime to win the 1984 Class 5A state championship. The team included All-State, Super 12, All-Southern and All-American players Gene Jelks and Larry Rose. Gross was selected the 5A Coach of the Year and coached in the 1985 Alabama All-Star Game. Buster Gross retired from coaching following the 1991 season with an overall record of 200, 104, and 10. Coach Gross has been inducted into the Etowah County Sports Hall of Fame, the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, and now the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame. Throughout an outstanding career as a coach and teacher, Fred Buster Gross has been a positive influence and motivation to countless numbers of players, students, and football fans. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Fred Buster Gross.
Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame board member Kim Forrest is going to present to 2015 inductee and former player of Coach Gross, Mike Shipp.
Thank you. It's a tremendous honor to be here with you tonight. Coach Gross is suffering some significant health issues, and it's the reason that he's not here with us tonight. His daughter Kelly asked me to come in his stead, and even though there are many of his former players that probably more qualified than I am to speak on his behalf, I have the privilege of being the only former player and also coach with Coach Gross at Induction High School. So you've seen his bio and significant, huge accomplishments in his career. But I'd like to take a few minutes and tell you about the man behind the wins. I played quarterback for Coach Gross there at high school, and actually I was on a team with Ken Tyler, Ken Porter, and Edwards, who sit over here at Fetty, Kansas City. And by the way, my senior year, we beat Kansas City again. So Coach Gross was quite proud of that. When I was in high school, playing for Coach Gross, he was the man that commanded respect from all the players that played for him. He didn't demand respect because of who he was and the kind of person that he was. We had great admiration and respect for Coach Gross. There's a lot of people that demand respect, but besides the desire to succeed and the will to win, probably one of the biggest motivating factors in my career in high school was not disappointing Coach Gross. That was something that was very special to me throughout my entire career. He was one of those people that knew more about relationships and developing relationships and the importance of that in a successful football program than anyone I've ever coached with. My 32 years of coaching, I've never known another coach that knew more about the game, about the importance of the details, the little things that make a successful football program. After I finished playing in high school, I had the opportunity to play football again at UNA under Mickey Andrews, and I coached 3 years. And then Coach Gross called me and offered me a job as his quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator at Induction High School. Still got a rub in my blood, so. But going in, I thought I knew football. But after spending the summer with Coach Gross before the initial season, I learned that I knew very little football. I learned more that first year under Coach Gross than I did the whole rest of my time playing in Coach Gross. You saw on the bio the state championship year. Well, the year before that, when we went 13-1, won and got beat in the championship game. That was my last year in Central High School. That next spring, the Litchfield High School job came open, and I didn't give it a second thought. And Coach Gross called me in after school and he said, "You need to apply for that job." And I said, "Do you think I'm ready?" And he said, "Yeah, you're ready." Well, I did interview for that job, and that summer, I accepted the job as head coach at Litchfield High School. That year, '84, we played in Sampson High School, the third game of the season, and when Coach Gross called the Dogs off when they were up 35. So, a very, very humbling experience. But Coach Gross and I had a very close relationship our whole careers. And the night after that ball game, about midnight, somebody knocked on the door, and it was Coach Gross's house. And we went out and sat down on the curb on the street. And about 2 in the morning, we ended the conversation. But the conversation was him coming to, one, console me, and two, to encourage me. But he never once offered to tell me what we need to do until I asked him. I said, "Coach, what do we got to do to get better?" And at that point, it became a very long list. But 2 years later, in 1986, during into the summer, we always had a media day in Gadsden, and all the coaches got to talk about their team, and then they would ask about competition and so forth. And of course, Coach Gross and I talked frequently, and he was tremendous support all the way through. He was there for the birth of all 3 of my kids. So, but anyway, at the media day, they got to Coach Gross and asked him about competition, and it went down the schedule. When they got to Litchfield High School, he said, I'll just tell you, he said, if Mike Shipp doesn't win the state championship, they'll fire him. So he just got laughing, and of course I'm over there just shaking my head. Coach, I was piling some pressure here. So, but anyway, Coach Gross had a 6th sense about football. And later on that year, third game of the season, we beat him Sampson High School for the first time, and the only time that I ever beat Coach Gross. And he had that 6th sense working right on cue, as we did end up winning the state championship in 1986. But the biggest thing about Coach Gross was his ability to develop relationships. And out of all of the X's and O's and everything that goes along with coaching football team, the most important lesson I learned from him was about that developing relationships. He could command a group of young men like no other. He could go from chewing one's ear off to his arm around the shoulders of another and see tears running down his cheeks. So he knew the difference that each person, each player related to. So he knew how to get the most out of the players that play for him. So I'm very thankful to have played for him, very thankful to have coached with him, and very thankful for the lessons that I've learned from him. And I appreciate it very much if you would pray for him as he struggles with his health issues. And I'm just so thankful to have been, had him in my life all these years. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Class of 2022 inductee, Charlie Jimerson. John Charles Charlie Jimerson was born on November 16, 1965, to Ed and Jean Jimerson. Charlie was raised on the family poultry and cattle farm in Douglas, Alabama, along with his 4 other siblings, Edward, Diane, Gary, and Beverly. Charlie found his love for sports at an early age by going with his parents and spending many hours at the baseball field. Charlie played all the way through elementary school and made many all-star teams. Sadly, his father's untimely death from cancer happened when Charlie was 10 years old. Charlie's mother took over the family farm and taught Charlie what it was like to have a great work ethic. Douglas High School's athletic facilities became home away from home for Charlie as a youth. Charlie played junior high football for Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame coach Kenneth Adams and Keith Swisher. He played junior high basketball for Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductees Coach Gary Ledbetter and Coach Rex Mitchell. Upon entering high school, Charlie was a member of the high school basketball, football, and track teams. Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee Coach Paul Maccabee came to Douglas as the head football and track coach during Charlie's sophomore year. On the football team, Charlie played 3 positions: quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback. His teammates from the DHS class of 1984 included Sam Wright, Alan Thacker, Philip Kinney, Brian Renfro, Anthony Veal, John Brooks, Bobby Clines, Ronnie Daniel, Johnny Daniel, and Chuck Robertson. Coach Cliff Gillis took over the basketball program in Charlie's senior year. Highlights from the 83-84 season included come-from-behind wins against Aniana and Geraldine. In the Geraldine game, Charlie pumped in 30 points, way before the three-point line existed. Being a member of the track team is where Charlie found his greatest success in high school. Charlie would qualify for the state track meet as a junior in the high jump by winning the sectional meet and would finish 3rd in the Class 2A state meet for the year. His senior year would be one for the record books at DHS. Charlie finished 1st in the high jump at the Marshall County track meet in 1984. He also took 1st place at the sectional track meet that was held at Jacksonville State University and qualified for the state track meet. Charlie became the first ever Douglas High School athlete to win an individual gold medal at the state level. Charlie graduated from Douglas High in 1984. The lessons that he learned from his coaches ultimately led Charlie into high school coaching. He attended Snead State for 2 years and then transferred to Jacksonville State and enrolled in the College of Education. Charlie graduated from JSU in 1988. After graduation, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Mr. Olin Hayes hired Charlie to become the junior high football and basketball coach at Boaz High School. A couple of years later, Coach Randy Lill promoted Charlie to the varsity football staff. They made the state playoffs in 1992 and 93. Charlie also coached the boys track team at Boaz High. He would coach Fred Davis to a first-place finish at the state meet in the triple jump. Charlie got the opportunity to return to his alma mater to coach football, basketball, and golf. Coaching alongside his former coach, inductee Rex Mitchell, the Eagles would make the state football playoffs in 1996 and 98. During his coaching time at DHS, the golf team made appearances 3 years in a row at the state golf tournament. After completing his master's and educational specialist degrees from the University of Alabama in 1996 and 2000, Charlie made the move into administration. He returned to Boaz to join Ray Landers as the assistant principal at Boaz Middle School. In 2004, he was promoted to the Marshall County Schools Central Office and served as Director of Technology. Charlie spent the next 16 years building and guiding the implementation of all aspects of educational technology. He presented at many state and national conferences during his time as Director of Technology. Charlie spent 3 years as Athletic Director for Marshall County Schools. He was able to restructure the pay scale for all coaches in the school system, implemented school district sports tournaments, and was able to provide all 4 high schools with new team logo tents for the cross-country and track teams. The fall of 2006 brought a new chapter to Charlie's athletic story. Charlie joined the local Football Officiating Association to remain close to the game that he enjoyed since his days at Douglas. Charlie was fortunate to join longtime officials Gary Quarles and Marvin Ball as a crew member. Under their tutelage, Charlie advanced very quickly to officiating playoff games. In 2013, he was selected to work the 5A state championship game in Bryant-Denny Stadium as a line judge. The following year, Charlie became a white hat head referee. He has worked numerous games and playoffs as the crew chief. His crews have become like family. In 2020, he was able to work a game with 3 sets of fathers and sons. Working on the field with his son Jalen has been a highlight of his officiating career. Charlie spent 10 years serving the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame as a board director. Charlie, along with Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Dr. Richard Ferguson and fellow 2022 inductee Patrick Williams, worked together to produce the banquet videos. Charlie married his high school girlfriend Tracy in 1986. Charlie and Tracy have lived in Douglas since they were married. Tracy also retired from Marshall County Schools, where she taught first grade at Sloman Primary. They have 2 children who are both Douglas High School graduates. Daughter Jill was a cheerleader and a member of the cross-country and track teams. After graduating from the University of Alabama, she returned to DHS as a cross-country and track coach. She is now a computer science teacher in Georgia and has obtained a master's degree in educational leadership. She is married to Brandon Carrier, and they reside in Cartersville, Georgia. Jalen played basketball and was an all-county baseball player at DHS. While at JSU, he worked in the athletic office under Douglas High alum and Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Greg Bonds. After graduating from Jacksonville State University with a sports management degree, Jalen went to work for Marshall County Schools in the technology department and is an assistant for the DHS varsity boys basketball team. He is also a member of his dad's football officiating crew. He is married to the former Annabeth Watson of Guntersville, and they reside in Douglas. Charlie has always loved his hometown of Douglas. He served the town as fire chief for 8 years and currently serves as a town councilman. He enjoys spending time and traveling with his family. He continues to chase sporting events all over the United States. He has made numerous trips to Major League Baseball, NBA, and NHL games, as well as NASCAR events. Every year he makes every effort to attend many football and basketball games in both Jacksonville and Tuscaloosa. Charlie and his family are members of Bethany Baptist Church in Horton. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Charlie Jimerson.
Well, thank you so much. It's great to be at Douglas Eagle, I know that. And I'm truly honored and humbled to represent Douglas High School in the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame. If you look at the history of Douglas High School, basically you can divide it into 2 categories. It's the old gym era and the new gym era. I thank God every day I got the chance to be in old school Douglas Eagle. It's nothing like that community that we had at that time. But I'm also thankful that I got to be a part of the new gym era as a coach and the ability to raise my family there. So, I just want, as I look back, I just want to thank you, Lord, for giving me all the abilities that I had, and I am truly a blessed man. I'd like to thank the Board of Directors and the Selection Committee for this huge honor. This organization means a lot to me personally because I spent a lot of time working on videos, getting information together. I know how much these guys put into it, and then to be on this side of it is humbling. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, Andy, Gene Jimerson. It's from them I got my love for sports, my work ethic. I'm just truly honored to have that bloodline in me. It's a tremendous honor. I can't wait to see them again in heaven one day. I want to thank my wife, Tracy. We started in high School. We've been married 35 years come this July, and she's the reason I'm standing here because of the support that she has given me over the last 30-something years. I appreciate you, Tracy. I love you. I can't wait to spend the next 35 years. Jill and Jalen, y'all are the thing I'm the most proud of. Watching you grow up, become sports lovers like me, go on and marry good people. I pray my whole life that God will put partners with you that I had, like I had, and Brandon and Dad. Thank you for being those people. God put you here for a reason, and I can't wait to see you all grow. My brothers and sisters, I hope that you know how proud I am of you. I know you're proud of me growing up. Y'all were always there. Y'all set the bar for me as to what I need to do in life. The things that I learned from you guys. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I love each and every one of you. I'd like to thank my mother-in-law, Sandra Neal. I appreciate everything you've done for me and the family. You've loved me from day one, and I appreciate that so much. Corey and Stephanie, thank y'all very much for your support. You've always been there for me. I love you tremendously. Thank you. My father-in-law, Elliot Neal, we lost him a few years ago. If you ever knew Elliot Neal, you knew he was the hardest working man in Douglas. And I always said if I could work 1/10 the amount that he did, I'd be successful. When I got to be in the 7th grade, my life changed tremendously because of athletics. The Lord put me in a place where a group of men took me and molded me and gave me confidence in myself. And I could never fail. Kenneth Adams, Gary Ledbetter, Haskell Ashley, Bill Aaron, Keith Swisher, Rex Mitchell, Coach McAfee, Cliff Gillis, and Susie Little. I took something from each one of those for the rest of my life, and they'll never know how much I appreciate that. Like Coach Allen, he's the reason that I got into education to begin with. He encouraged me. We become good friends after I graduated high school and got into education. Many hours of talking with him, phone calls, and I'm sure these guys right here probably got those phone calls too. But tremendous influence on me. I'd give anything if I could go on one more trip with him. Give me anything. Dr. Richard Ferguson, he was our high school principal. Later on, I got to work with Dr. Ferguson at the central office and also working with him on the Sports Hall of Fame. The thing I like to take from that is my friend. And I can call Butch anytime and he didn't do anything for me. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Dr. Ferguson. To my high school teammates in 1984, Sam, you're my best friend growing up. Man, we spent so many times doing things we probably shouldn't have. Dr. Ferguson may have handled us, I don't know. But there's a good chance he did. Alan Thacker, you are our high school coach in high school. I mean, you were organized sporting events when we were just out hanging out. And you'll go down in history as one of the greatest coaches in Douglas, I guarantee it. Anthony Beal, great teammate, good friend, had others there. The members of 1983 class, guys, as a collective group, you will go down in history as the greatest group of athletes that ever walked the doors of Douglas High School. And that's a tremendous honor. Coaches I've privileged to work with and have an effect on me, Joe Nettles, Randy Neal, Randall Morton, Rex Mitchell, Willard Moses, thank you for your room, Brent McCoy, Kerry Henderson, Shane Otinger, Nikki Dixon, Ben Baker. The camaraderie that we had at Boaz and Douglas is something that I'll cherish my whole life. And you other coaches, you know what I'm talking about that camaraderie. When I got into administration, Ray Landers took me under his wing and taught me what it's like to be a professional. I learned so much in those 4 years that I worked with Ray, and then that propelled me to the central office for the next 16. But more importantly, Ray, my friend, you and Rex and Corey, y'all are my rock. I love it when we get the chance to go somewhere together and just lean on each other. I appreciate you so much. fell in love with it. I got into a group of guys, Gary Quarles, Marvin Ball, Gary McGee, Alan Sheik. I learned so much so fast, and I was eventually able to call a game in Bryant Denny Stadium. Probably the highlight of my athletic career is getting to do that. And then later on, I became a white hat myself, and as I progressed, we've kind of gelled into a crew now. We've been together for the last 4, 5, 6 years. But my crew consists of Darryl Nicholson, Brian Phillips, Jimmy Hanson, and Jalen. Going to the game and from the game is just as much fun as working the game. And to get to do that and to stay close to a game that you love is a tremendous honor. In closing, I want to thank high school athletics. I have no idea how I would live my life without high school athletics. I got to see so many things. I got to experience so many things. And like I said, you know, you want to get yourself in situations to where you're winning a big game with the Boaz. We won a big game against Alabama. We haven't won in a long, long time. Then at Douglas, we had a big game against Gunnersville. We come from behind, beat Gunnersville, you know, for the very first time. Those things will always stick with you. And then this past season, getting to work a playoff game that had state championship implications on it, went into overtime. Every play was pressure filled. You know, that's why you want to be out there and to get to do those things. God is just truly blessed. Early in life, I heard someone say, life is for living. I have tried my best to do that. I cannot wait to see what God has planned for me next. This past year, God blessed me with a little opportunity to be in Scottsboro as a Wildcat. Never had any idea that I'd ever do that. I love it there. So as I go into this new chapter of my life, I'm going to take whatever He gives me and I'm going to walk through it and I'm going to trust in Him. So if you're an old gym Eagle, a new gym Eagle, if you're a player or a student at Douglas or Boaz that I coach or taught, if you're a coach I work with, if you're an official that I ever work with, or if you're just a friend that I met along the way, I want to say thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, Class of 2022 inductee, Paul R. Maccabee. Paul Ralph Maccabee was born on December 24, 1955 in Fort Payne, Alabama, the only child of Paul Willard and Jewel Yancey Maccabee. Paul and Mrs. Maccabee moved from Fife to Albertville in 1963 after the untimely passing of Mr. Maccabee due to a work-related accident. Paul began his athletic career with the Albertville Recreation Department, playing in the minor league, little league, pony league, and Dixie Major baseball programs. As a member of the 1969 Albertville Pony League All-Star team, Paul played third base as the team won the Alabama and Southeastern Championships and played for the Dixie Youth World Series. He also played 4 years of Pee Wee and 2 years of junior high football before moving up to the Aggie varsity. Paul was a 4-sport letterman in football, wrestling, baseball, and track and field. His high school football coaches included 2002 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Charter Class inductee Vernon Wells, Butch Ferguson, Ronnie Little, and in baseball 2022 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Mickey Moore. Paul was an outstanding 3-year starter for the Aggies in football from 1971 to 73 as linebacker, offensive guard, and deep snapper. In his senior season, he received an ACL knee injury that ended his playing career. However, after being released following surgery, he came to practice every day to encourage his teammates. The Aggies went on to win their first all-out Marshall County championship in 10 years, beating county rivals Arab, Boaz, and Guntersville. Paul was also an active member of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and senior class president. After graduation in 1974, Paul attended Snead State and served as a volunteer assistant coach for the junior high Aggies alongside Coach Bob Duke. Following Snead, he transferred to the University of Alabama, graduating with honors and a bachelor's degree in mathematics and a minor in athletic coaching. He later earned master's degrees in both mathematics and school administration. Paul went on to an outstanding career in coaching. His first job was as a math teacher and assistant football coach at Arab High School. After 3 years with the Knights, Paul accepted the head football coaching job at Douglas High School in 1981. He was also the head coach for track and field and varsity girls and junior high boys basketball. In Paul's second year, he led the Eagles to a school record 9-1 season, losing only to Crossville. Coach Mack also had 3 players who received college football scholarships: Norman Bonds, Tony Brewster, and Kenny Ramey. Following the 1987 season, Coach Maccabee answered the call to return to Albertville High School as offensive coordinator for 2020 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee and head football coach Dennis Hicks. In 1990, he was selected to succeed Coach Hicks as the head coach. In 1991 and 1992, Paul led the Aggies to the state playoffs. The 1992 team traveled to Coleman to play the number 1 seed Bearcats and won the first AHSAA playoff football game in Albertville and Marshall County history. Coach Mack finished his coaching career with 3 consecutive Marshall County championships in 1996, 97, and 98 without losing a single game against county opponents. Retiring from coaching with 50 wins, Coach Mack became the second winningest coach in Aggie history behind Vernon Wells. He also coached several players who received scholarships or walked on to become college players, including Nathan Cole, a 2013 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee, and Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame nominees Will Radcliffe, Todd Jenkins, and William Orr. Mr. Maccabee became the principal and athletic director at AHS in 2002, serving until his retirement in 2015 after completing 38 years of service to schools in Marshall County. Following his retirement, the Albertville City School System retired Maccabee's high school jersey number 66. He was only the 3rd player to be so honored. The other 2 were All-American and All-NFL player John Hanna and All-SEC player and college head coach Charlie Pell. While coaching at Arab, Paul met and married Karen Bridges. They have 1 daughter, Danza, and son-in-law, David May. Karen currently works at Albertville High School, and Paul works part-time with the Alabama High School Athletic Association, assisting schools with eligibility and compliance issues. As a player, coach, and administrator, Paul Maccabee has been a positive influence and encouragement to countless numbers of students, players, and adults over his lifetime of service. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Paul Maccabee.
Presenting Coach Maccabee will be Marshall County Board Vice President, Dr. Butch Ferguson.
You know, I'm really honored to be here. But I mean, I would not be here without the people that I've been surrounded with my entire life and my entire coaching and teaching and administrative career. But first, I'd like to thank Cliff Mitchell. Cliff Mitchell nominated me for this honor, and Cliff Mitchell was one class act. My wife, Karen, been married 42 years in November. Daughter Danza, son-in-law David. I also like to thank Freddie Carr. Freddie and I grew up together, played ball together, and Freddie Carr actually is, he still holds one of the track records after almost 50 years at Alabama. Freddie Carr may be one of the fastest guys that ever came to Marshall County, and one heck of a human being. You know, I was always told that the hardest job you'll ever get is the first one. And I want to thank Wayne Trimble for giving me a job. I didn't know Wayne Trimble, I knew of him, but I didn't know him. At Arab High School in 1978, and I was fortunate enough to get to coach for Wayne for 3 years. Richard Ferguson gave me a job opportunity at Douglas High School. And could have hired a lot of other people, but he hired me. And I want to thank Butch for that. James Tidmore gave me the head coaching job at Albertville when everybody told him they ought to get it from somebody else. If you know James Tidmore, he didn't care. Mr. T was much man. So I appreciate him. And then Robert Sparkman named me the principal at Albertville High School. Without people trusting in you and without people giving you a chance, you never get to stand up here. There's an awful lot of folks that I've worked with along the way that were important to me. And I certainly, it's like naming flavors, you can't start naming everybody. But that first coaching staff at ARAB was Wayne Trimble, Bill Morgan, Ken Beard, and Mike Bob. And the 3 years I was at ARAB, it was really good. I enjoyed coaching over there. At Douglas, Rex, Gary Ledbetter, Kenneth Adams, and Lake Ross Brooks. 3 of those guys are in the Hall of Fame right now. At Albertville, we had several coaches, but the core coaches were Darrell Cooper, George Thorne, David Darden, and Richard Johnson. And I appreciate them. When I was the principal and athletic director at Albertville for almost 14 years, went through a lot of assistant principals. Darrell Cooper was my first one, and he was a good one. Michael Douglas, Lance Kitchens, who, by the way, I'd take a bullet for Lance Kitchens. Dietrich Tidwell, Caleb Pinion, and my secretary of about 16 years, Mary Smith, is here tonight, and I certainly appreciate Mary. And last, the players. I just like to do this. If you ever played on a team I coached at any level, if you're here tonight, would you just stand for a minute? I appreciate your time. And I will say this. See, they don't really know each other. But if Chris Head and Norman Bonds had ever played on the same defense with Jason Cole and Nathan Cole, the other team needed to have good Blue Cross. Those are 4 of the toughest football players that ever coached, along with Rodney Smith. Rodney Smith might be the toughest, and never said a word. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Look, when I grew up, I got to be Zeke Bentley's tackling buddy every day at practice. I mean, we played the same position on defense, kind of, and you learn a lot about life having to tackle Zeke Bentley. I got to see Freddie Carr every day running football. I got to see David Reed running football. You know, those things are memories. As a coach, I got to line up on the other sideline from guys like Todd Patterson, Robert Harris, Jerry O'Moore. I mean, the list goes on and on. I got to try to figure out some way to stop Lamont Russell from Douglas. Never did stop Mike Cobo at Crossville. He just kept running on us. You get to try to figure out how to move the football on his dad, Harold's defense. I mean, I had many opportunities as a coach to see that. And then as an athletic director and as a principal, I was blessed to work with some really good folks. John Gross, Dale Pruitt. I mean, the list goes on and on. And if anybody that ever thinks that you do anything in life by yourself, you don't. Anything that I've ever accomplished positive in my life has been because of the people that I'm surrounded by, whether that's by accident or whether it's by design. And anybody here tonight that I've ever been a part of their career with or their life with, I just want to say thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Class of 2022 inductee, Mickey Sanford Moore. Mickey Sanford Moore was born on August 5, 1943, on a tenant farm in the Asbury community. This farm later became the Willowbrook Golf Course. Mickey was the youngest of 7 children born to Omer John and Edith Sanford Moore. Mickey had many experiences as an elementary student that led him to a lifetime devoted to playing and coaching. He enjoyed and was an active participant in various sports at the elementary level. His talents were evident at a young age, and he often played on teams older than himself, including one game with the Fort Payne DeSoto Independent team, alongside 2012 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Randy Beard and longtime friend and teammate Jimmy Drain. In a District 8 tournament game, Mickey scored 44 points and was selected to the All 8th District Junior High team. At Albertville High School, Mickey continued to develop his basketball skills while also playing and lettering in baseball and track and field. He was a 3-year starter for head basketball coach Shannon Sloan, a 2002 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame charter class inductee. During those 3 years, Mickey was an integral part of teams that won 2 Marshall County championships, 2 Sand Mountain championships, and went to the 1960 state tournament in Tuscaloosa, placing 3rd, ending the season with a 30-6 record. Mickey was the team's leading scorer. During his career at AHS, Moore was All Marshall County twice, All Sand Mountain, All 8th District, All 8th District Senior, All NEAC, NEAC MVP, second team All-State, and co-captain. In 1961, following his outstanding career at AHS, Mickey received a scholarship to play basketball at Snead State for 2002 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame charter class inductee Emmett Plunkett. His teammates included Drain and Gunnersville's Bill Jones. As a sophomore, Mickey was selected to the All-Snead Classic team. After completing his associate's degree at Snead, Mickey, now married with a son, was considering employment options when he was contacted by both Jacksonville State and Athens State to continue playing basketball. Mickey decided to play at Athens for legendary coach Oba Belcher. He played with the 2009 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Jackie Thrower on a team that earned a trip to the NAIA National Tournament in Kansas City, Missouri. The team defeated Pittsburgh State before falling to Norfolk State, which was led by future Milwaukee Bucks player Bob Dandridge. During his career at Athens, Mickey led the team with an 89.5% free throw percentage and 56% field goal shooting percentage in both his junior and senior seasons. After graduating from ASC in 1966, Mickey began a 40-year career in education. He taught and coached at several schools, including 3 years at Union Grove and 2 years at Asbury, before returning to Albertville High School in 1971, where he coached junior high basketball, football, track and cross country, JV basketball, and varsity baseball. He worked alongside his former coach Shannon Sloan as the JV and varsity basketball teams won many county and district tournaments and playoff games. Mickey was very successful with his baseball program, coaching many outstanding players, including his son Chris, JSU players Lynn Beard and Gil Bruce, a 2011 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee, and 2009 inductee Rusty Greer, who had an impressive professional career with the Texas Rangers. In 1988, after earning both a master's degree and AA certification in administration, Mickey was selected as AHS Teacher of the Year and became the AHS Assistant Principal for 9 years and Albertville City Schools Transportation and Attendance Supervisor for 9 more before his retirement in 2005. However, Mickey did not slow down much after retirement. He owned and operated a cattle farm in Asbury and was a director for the Marshall County Cattlemen's Association. He traveled, played golf, helped to build wheelchair ramps with CASA, and alongside his wife, the former Judy Hall, delivered meals to homebound senior citizens for the Albertville Senior Center. Together, Mickey and Judy have 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and 9 great-grandchildren. Sadly, Mickey passed away on December 4, 2021. He left a legacy of dedicated service and encouragement to his family and the many students, players, and others that he helped and mentored throughout his life. His life motto was, "Live your life, live it well, and love the ones you love." He will be missed. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Mickey Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, Class of 2022 inductee, Buddy Mac Moore. Buddy Mac Moore was born on August 23, 1932, to Enomer John Moore and Edith Sanford Moore in Asbury, Alabama. He was the fifth of 7 children: Delbert, Imogene, Charles, Winnell, Mary, and Mickey. Buddy started playing basketball at Asbury School, which only went to the 9th grade at that time. After completing school at Asbury, he went to Albertville High School playing both basketball and baseball. He excelled in both and was a starter on the basketball and baseball teams for 2002 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Charter Class inductee, Coach Vernon Wells. As a sophomore in the 1950 Marshall County basketball tournament, Buddy averaged 27 points per game and was voted MVP of the tournament. As a junior in 1951, he was voted AHS basketball team co-captain alongside 2003 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Frank Reed. After that school year, the family moved to Fife, where Buddy played basketball for legendary coach Chuck Abels. The tall senior from Asbury was selected co-captain of the 1952 Red Devil squad along with Billy Fay Pass. Following graduation from Fife in 1952, Moore joined the United States Air Force and served his country for 22 years. Before leaving for an overseas assignment in 1958, he bought a used set of golf clubs at a local pawn shop for $15, a lot of money for an enlisted man at that time. Buddy had picked up golf as a 16-year-old in the summer of 1948 when he lived and worked with his older brother at a cotton mill in Lupton City, Tennessee. He worked the 3rd shift and would sleep after his shift ended and then go to the Lupton City golf course and play a round of golf before going back to work. The annual dues were only $10 per year. He scored his first hole-in-one there and developed a real passion for the game of golf. After returning from his assignment, Buddy started playing again. His normal routine was to go to the course an hour before tee time and work on his putting and chipping. It wasn't long before he made the base golf team and began playing in tournaments throughout the U.S. Buddy won tournaments at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina and Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida and added 3 more holes-in-one. In addition to golf, he also played basketball for the base team in Rhein-Main, Germany. In one game, he scored 41 points in a 52-51 victory over another base team. Buddy retired from the U.S. Air Force in 1974 as a master sergeant after serving as the crew chief for a C-130. After moving back to Alabama, he completed an Associate of Science degree at Snead State and was hired as the first golf professional at the newly constructed Lake Guntersville State Park Golf Course. Buddy became a member of the Alabama Senior PGA Dixie section and attended PGA business schools in Toledo, Ohio and Dallas, Texas. He continued to play in golf tournaments and in 1977 tied the course record at Musgrove Country Club in Jasper, Alabama, shooting an amazing 9 under par 63 with 3 eagles, 3 birdies, and 12 pars. Moore also won the Alabama PGA Dixie Senior Tournament in Alexander City in 1984. Buddy was generous with his time and abilities, giving golf lessons to anyone who wanted them and hosting tournaments for high schools, the AHSAA, and the Gulf South Conference. After 20 years, he retired from Lake Guntersville State Park in 1994 after adding 6 more holes-in-one. Since his second retirement, Buddy tries to play golf every day, Monday through Friday, and still follows his original plan to arrive an hour before tee time to practice his chipping and putting. Since retiring, he has added 9 additional holes-in-one for a total of 19. At 89 years old, Buddy still believes that practice is the key to success. Buddy Mac Moore married Doris Ann Armstrong on February 2, 1954. After 68 years of marriage, Doris still pulls for him every day to get that 20th hole-in-one. Buddy and Doris have 3 children, Gary Moore, Patsy Smith, and Martha LeBlanc, 6 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. Through his life of service to our country and dedication to sports, Buddy Mac Moore continues to be an inspiration and encouragement to his family and all who know him. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Buddy Mac Moore.
And presenting to Buddy McNamore is Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame board member Mike Little. Baker will be presenting to Chris Moore, Mickey's son.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, ladies and gentlemen, and all foreign members. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor for me to accept this in behalf of my late brother, Mickey Sennett. Mickey and I grew up, as you know, in a little community up here in Asbury. We raised on a farm. We wasn't very rich, but we made it up with happiness and love. Mickey was born premature, and the doctor didn't give him much chance to survive. But what a surprise, how he fooled everybody. When I was born, my family didn't name me for several days, and they'd ask my father, said, what's your little boy's name? And he said, oh, that's my little buddy. So 2 or 3 days later, they named me Buddy Mac. So that's how I got Buddy Mac. First, I'd like to introduce Judy and her family. Judy, would you please stand so everybody can see you, please? Stand up so everybody can see you. I'd like to introduce stepdaughter Cindy Thomas. Thank you. Lily's son, Levi, and his wife, Kate. Vicky's grandson, Zachary and Rhonda. Christy couldn't be here tonight, so he had another granddaughter. At this time, I'd like to introduce my lovely wife of 68 years. Now, I'd like to introduce my son, Gary. Gary and I played a lot of golf together. He is a UNA graduate. He is also a member of the U.S. Air Force. 20 years after I won the base championship at Shaw Air Force Base, he won the Shaw Air Force Base championship as an officer stationed at Shaw. He also won down in Florida in 1982. And I wanted 10 of them too. All right. Mickey was born on the 5th of July, 5th of August, 1943. He we didn't have much to do in sports. Our outlet as a childhood was playing basketball in the barn door. My father would put a backboard up, and every year we'd play basketball. And then we went on to play in junior high school and on the Albertville. And Mickey started his coaching career. He started out at Junior Grove and then at Asbury. And he had this old tale he'd tell me every year. It's like, when I started, said I had this little kid that he didn't really, wasn't old enough to have experience to play much, but he kept punching his coach. Let me play. He said, just hold on, said, I'll put you in that club. So at halftime, they built up about a 9-point lead. And he said, all right, Johnny, he said, it's your time to go in. So he put him in. They threw the ball up the center, but little Johnny grabbed the ball. He took off and laid it up. Mickey called him out. He said, son, you done real well. He says, the only problem is you made it in the wrong way. But he put him back in there, and he scored 9 points that game. He turned out to be one of the best players the next 3 years. I've had several students to come up and tell me after Mickey passed what a great coach, what a great individual he was. He loved coaching with Coach Sloan, but he's a little bit overshadowed by Shannon's success. So he continued his work, but he loved basketball, he loved coaching football and baseball, and he put out some good baseball players. In the name of Gil Bruce, Lindy Beard, Frank Stevens. Frank had a no-hitter out, and his pride and joy was Rusty Greer. And everybody knows about Rusty's success. Mickey was a pillar of faith. Him and Judy were members of the Beulah Baptist Church in Alberta. And you know, his Bible said that they delivered Meals on Wheels each Wednesday. And you couldn't get him to do anything else on Wednesday. He said, that's my delivery day for food. They also were instrumental in delivering meals on Thanksgiving at the United Methodist Church in Alabama, which Doris and I are members of. We would put out anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 meals every Thanksgiving, and they'd have to deliver probably 200 or so. And Mickey was always there to carry out his duties of delivering meals. And sadly, old Mickey passed away on 4th of December, watching his favorite football team, Alabama, playing Georgia. But he left us a lot of memories, and you could always see that big cheerful smile in his famous words. Holy golly, what a golly bomb. Well, golly bomb. All right, when I got out of school, the draft was right on my tail, so I knew I had to either go in the Army or go in the Air Force. So I went to talk to my recruiter, and he put me in the Air Force. So I went on and I continued my sports for several years. And then when I got out of service in '74, I took a job over here at the State Park here at the Pro Shop, and I ran the golf course there for 20 years. And today, after I retired there in '94, I started started playing golf down at Boaz. And I have a bunch of buddies that I'd like to recognize, like little Richard Strickler, Connie Strickler, and John Kitchens. We all have a good time. We play every day, weather permits, except weekends. And one day we was fixing to tee off on the light, says, all right, today we're gonna play a new game. So we're gonna play it at live. So we played it preferred live all the time. And Mike says, we playing it live. I said, okay, that's fine with me. So we teed off, and about the fourth hole, I hit it over on the cart path. Well, I got out, I started moving over, and he said, no, you can't move that. I said, we played it as live. I said, well, Mike, the rule says you can move it off the cart path. Mike said, no, we playing it as live. I said, okay. Well, I took my club, and I took a couple practice land and sparked this fly. Finally, I addressed the ball, I hit it about coil high, and it hit about 10 yards toward the green, run up about 2 foot in the pin. Old Mike says, man, this is a nice shot. He says, what'd you hit? I said, you're a cell, Marn. I want to thank you for it tonight, and I want to thank you for the next half. We certainly are honored, and we appreciate it very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022 inductee, Bridget Largen Moorfield. Bridget Largen Moorfield was born in Huntsville, Alabama on October 6, 1981. She was the first of 3 daughters born to Merlin and Tinian Largen. Bridget, as well as her sisters Autumn and Brooke, were all outstanding students and basketball players for the Kate Duncan Smith Daughters of the American Revolution School, better known as DAR. In fact, the Largen family is one of the most prominent basketball families in Marshall County. Not only did all 3 siblings sign basketball scholarships, but also first cousins Todd Largen and his sister Tammy Largen Lossick were both outstanding players for the Patriots and both played basketball in college. Bridget credits her father and mother for her success in basketball. Merlin, currently a government contractor, was also an outstanding basketball player and signed a scholarship to play basketball at Snead State for Coach John Kitchens. Merlin instilled his knowledge of the sport and helped to perfect Bridget's skills. Tinian, who grew up on a farm in Northwood, North Dakota, was a former substitute teacher at DAR and taught her daughters to walk in faith and the meaning of strength and endurance. Merlin began coaching Bridget at the YMCA in Gurley at the age of 8. It wasn't long before he built a half court alongside their home for daily practices. Shortly afterward, Bridget was selected to join the 10 and under teams coached by Ben Sibley. She competed in rec league teams until she reached middle school at Woodville. Bridget learned her basketball lessons very well, and when she reached the 7th grade, was moved up to the Woodville High School varsity team at midseason. As an 8th grader, she tied the existing state record at that time by hitting 11 three-pointers while scoring 49 points in a varsity game versus Galesville. Bridget went on to win Team MVP, Best Field Goal Percentage, Best Defensive Player, and All-Jackson County. Following that year, the family moved to Grant, and Bridget enrolled at DAR playing basketball for Coach Robert Martin, alongside 2020 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame inductee Miranda Keller. Bridget soon became a starter for the Patriots as a freshman. In the 1999-2000 season, Jimmy Jones became the coach of the Lady Pats. The team won the Class 3A Regional Championship and played in the Final Four in Birmingham. During Bridget's 4 years at DAR, she made the All-Marshall County team 4 years, the All-Area team 3 years, and the All-Regional and the Alabama Sports Writers Association All-State teams as a senior. Bridget also received multiple team awards, including the Hustle Award, Team MVP, and the Marie Heiss Yoakum Outstanding Women's Athletic Award. On the DAR tennis team, she was also the Class 3A Sectional 6 singles champion and made it to the AHSAA State Tennis Tournament in both singles and doubles. Following graduation in 2000, Bridget signed a scholarship to play basketball at the University of West Alabama in Livingston. She started several games as a freshman and was second on the team with steals and third in three-point shots and assists. As a sophomore, the Tigers had a record of 22-6 and earned a spot in the 2002 Division II National Championship Tournament in Cleveland, Mississippi. That same year, Bridget developed a rare blood disorder called ITP. The doctors advised that she should no longer continue to play the game that she loved so much. In addition to athletics, Bridget was an excellent student, making the dean's list throughout her college years. Once her basketball career ended, Bridget was accepted into the Acquisition Career Experience, or ACE program at Redstone Arsenal in Huntsville. She returned home to Grant and completed a bachelor's degree in management at Athens State University while working part-time at the Arsenal. After graduation, she accepted a full-time position as a program analyst for PEO, Air, Space, and Missile Defense. In 2006, Bridget married Lucas Moorfield, also a former DAR basketball player. They have two sons, Dallas and Sawyer. The boys attend KDS Elementary School and are already interested in basketball. In 2018, Bridget retired early to give more time to her family. The Moorfields are very active members of the First Baptist Church. Lucas is a deacon, and both teach a young adults Sunday school class. Even though Bridget no longer practices basketball each day, she still carries that same dedication in coaching her boys, and above all else, ensuring that they grow strong in their faith. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Bridget Largen Moorfield.
Presenting to Bridget will be Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame board member Jim Bradshaw.
I'm not much of a talker, although I disagree. But I'll try to make this short and sweet and let everybody get home. First and foremost, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. He is the one that gave me the talent to play, and He could have taken it away in any given moment. I just hope that my character and attitude on and off the court somehow glorify Him, because the glory is all His. To all and the many coaches in my life, whether you were a head coach, assistant coach, team manager, water girl, stats keeper, a referee, somebody that worked the concession stands during ball games, a parent, teacher, a relative or classmate in the stands, a teammate, and in some cases, even an opponent. You all were coaches in my eyes, and you all hold a special place in my heart. Every comment, pat on the back, constructive criticism, I'll always cherish. I wanted to work harder and do better for you. Part of who I am today is because of you, and I sincerely thank you for that. And I'll always cherish the time that we shared together. To my parents, cue the tears. Having had two boys of my own now, and then just now in the beginning stages of participating in sports, I'm getting a little taste of the time, effort, commitment, exhaustion, and joy that comes with raising your kids in sports. So with that said, I want to say this. Mom and Dad, thank you for teaching me about Jesus and the importance of putting Him first. For taking time out of your busy schedule to help make my dreams come true. For bringing me my ball shoes graduated for the 100th time. For building house after house after house so us girls could continue to play ball. For dropping everything and driving in all 12 hours when my car had broken down in college, just so I could come home for one day. For pushing me when I wanted to quit. For encouraging me when I was low. And for spending endless amounts of time and money just to support me in these things. Most kids these days don't even have those parents, let alone the love and support that you've given me. I am the daughter, the sister, the wife, and the mother I am today because of you. And if I can be half the parent to my boys that you've been to me, then I know I've done well. We girls do not realize just how very blessed we are to have you both. And finally, to the board, those who nominated me and or voted for me. Up until today, I was still convinced that somebody had gotten it wrong, that for whatever reason, my name had mistakenly slipped through the cracks, and I was in this phone call or email saying, Smallville, we're sorry, made a mistake. We picked somebody else, it was a different Bridget, something. My sisters would tell you that I've always been competitive, but I never thought I was good. I saw my mistakes, the things I could have done better. I saw players that were better, players with a level of talent that I could only dream of achieving. So the fact that I'm standing here right now, there are no words that can justify the level of gratitude that I feel. You've given me something that my parents will cherish the rest of their lives. And my husband and my children and their children will take pride in for years to come. To me, that's immeasurable. To me, that means the world. I doubt there will ever come a day where I feel like I've earned it or deserved it, because I didn't do it alone. It might have my name on the plaque, but it was 100% a team effort that got me to this point. What I do know is that I'm blessed beyond what I deserve. And I'm so, so very honored to be here. So again, to anyone and everyone that had anything to do with this, from the moment I first picked up the basketball to this point now, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you and God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022 inductee, James Reed Jim Rhodes. James Reed Rhodes was born on August 24, 1941 in Rossville, Georgia, to Jimmy and Catherine Reed Rhodes. Catherine later married Troy Spears and the family moved to Fort Payne, Alabama, where Jim started school. When the family later moved to Springville, South Carolina, Jim began playing Pee Wee football and made the Little League Baseball All-Star team. The family later moved to Newfane, New York, near Buffalo, where Jim went to junior high and high school. He lettered 3 years in football, basketball, and baseball under Coach Pat Duffy. Jim considered himself as a solid contributor in all sports, not a great player, but he loved competition. After high school, Jim returned to Fort Payne to live and work with his aunt and uncle, J.P. and Haleen Bethune. They encouraged Jim to try college at Snead State in Boaz. He made the baseball team there, playing for 2 years under Coach Emmett Plunkett, a 2002 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame charter class inductee. Jim then transferred to play football at Florence State, now the University of North Alabama. However, he received a career-ending knee injury. Jim went on to earn a bachelor's degree in history and physical education in 1965 and a master's degree in physical education from Ole Miss in 1973. Coach Rhodes began his teaching and coaching career at Central High School in Florence, where he was an assistant football and head junior high basketball coach. His basketball teams went 42-7 and won the Lauderdale County Championship. After 1 year, he accepted a job as head basketball coach and athletics director for Collinwood High School in Collinwood, Tennessee, population 500. At that time in Tennessee, there were no classifications for the state playoffs, and even though the Trojans were one of the smallest schools in the state, they had to compete with all of the bigger schools. However, Coach Rhodes and his Trojans posted a remarkable record of 120-41 over the next 6 years, winning 4 area, 2 regional, 4 county, 3 Christmas, and 2 district tournament championships. The team advanced all the way to the Tennessee State Tournament to play the big boys twice during that run. Coach Rhodes was lured back to Alabama to be the head basketball and assistant baseball and football coach at Colbert County High School in Layton. From 1972 to 74, the CCHS Indians basketball team had an overall record of 46-7 with 2 area championships, 2 sub-state runners-up, 2 Colbert County championships, and 2 Christmas tournament championships. The football team went 21-2 with 1 state championship, and the baseball team was runner-up in the state tournament. Coach Rhodes also had the opportunity to coach 2 of the most well-known athletes in the state at that time, Ozzie Newsome, who played at Alabama, and Phil Gargas, who played at Auburn. Following his successes in Alabama and Tennessee, Coach Rhodes was hired to be the head basketball, head golf, and assistant football coach at Guntersville High School. The Wildcat basketball team had a 2-year record of 64-4, won the 1975 3A state championship, and was the 1976 runners-up. The Cats also won 2 regional, 2 area, 2 Marshall County, and 3 Christmas tournament championships. Coach Rhodes was selected the 1975 Alabama Basketball Coach of the Year and coached the North All-Stars to wins in both 1975 and 1976. His players included 2002 Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Charter Class inductee, All-American, All-State, and All-Tournament player Kent Looney, All-State and All-Tournament player Frank Moore, Alabama All-Star Team player Kim Williamson, future GHS head basketball coach Philip Colley, Cass Havis, David Staten, John Hampton, Bruce Wiggs, and Ronnie Simpson. Following 2 years at Guntersville, Rhodes was chosen to be the head basketball coach and athletic director at Southern Benedictine College in Coleman. His first team won the Southern Conference Championship. When the college closed in 1979, Rhodes chose a different path, working as salesman and sales manager at River Oaks Homes from 1980 to 85, president and co-owner of Mays Enterprises in Albertville from 1985 to 87, and as national sales manager for Southern Energy Homes in Addison until his retirement in 2002. Jim is a member of the Lake City Assembly of God and is involved in several charitable activities and ministries, including Kairos Prison Ministry and the Cedar Lodge Drug and Alcohol Ministry. Jim is married to Karen Rhodes. He has twin daughters, Jamie Leffel and Ann Catherine Craig, and 3 grandchildren, Liam, Reed, and Nolan Leffel. Throughout his life as a coach, businessman, and humanitarian, Jim Rhodes has been a positive influence on the lives of the many students, players, and individuals with whom he has worked. Ladies and gentlemen, Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2022 inductee, Jim Rhodes.
Presenting to Coach Rhodes will be Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame board member Mitch Shelton.
First of all, I'd like to give honor and glory to my Lord Jesus Christ.
second of all, I'd like to tell you that my 5 minutes ain't gonna be as long as some of the others. Glad to hear some of that, I'm sure. I'd like to thank the committee for my selection, especially Jeff Tully and Coach First. I'd like to thank my wife, my family for their great support, and to all those wonderful, exceptional players and coaches that I had the opportunity to coach, and they're the real reason that I'm here today. My philosophy as a coach must never forget to, he's a leader, not just a person with authority. He needs to teach his players guidance in all aspects of life, not just how to play a game. As far as basketball went, I strongly believe in aggressive defense, rebounding, being disciplined, and a pressing run game. You know, the reason I'm here, of course, is the Gunnersville teams that I was fortunate to coach. And I got to say something about my first coaching, the little school in Tennessee, Collinwood, Tennessee, one of the smallest schools in the state, no classifications in the state, and my first 2 years got to go to the state. That was really an exceptional experience with those young men. The Calder County teams were great teams. We just couldn't beat Russell. We won, we beat everybody else except Russell. They beat us in the regional finals, 3 points and 1 point. I came to Gunnersville to beat Russell, and we got them sapsuckers in the regional second game in the state. My teams at Gunnersville were both excited and championship caliber teams. The state championship team was awesome. People come from all around to watch Athletics play. I believe there's never been 10 better teams, irregardless of classification, than that 75 team. Philip Colley told me that there was a radio station in Birmingham that selected the supposed best teams in colleges and high schools and so on. The 75 Gunnersville team was selected number 1. I don't know who voted on it, but I think they were too. This bunch, they could have beat some junior college teams. They were that good. They were exceptional in all areas. They had no weaknesses. They could do it all. Being Kim Williams at 6'9", 270, John Hampton, David State, 6'6", 6'5". Swing guard, Frank Moore, 6'5", all state. And then I had a little point guard, Kent Looney. I taught him all he knows. All he was the most valuable player in the state. McDonald's All-American, anything award came up, Kent was, and he was that good. Each of these men had their own strong points. Each could have started for any team in the state. Nancy Cody and Philip Colley was my first substitute. The 76 team that never got the recognition that they should have got. They just weren't as big, but they were tough. Actually, with some of the wins from the 75 team, they were working on a 40-game win streak. I believe strongly that this team was the best in our classification. They'd been ranked number 1 all year long. Glenn Birmingham was ranked number 2. We beat Glenn in the semifinals, and here we were, ready to win the state back-to-back. And we're going to play this little Cinderella team, Thompson. And all the mamas and the daddies and newspapers, and, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever got to tell them, stomp that bunch. And we got up Saturday morning, and I told them, I said, your attitude ain't right. You fixing to get beat. Oh, Coach Man, I don't Coach Man me. You fixing to get beat. You see, they believed the hype. They didn't believe me. And Thompson beat us. This bunch should have been state champs back-to-back. They were that good. I'll end you with this as far as that. Thompson shot 43 free throws, and we shot 9. Looney fouls out. You go figure. Let's go. Several of my former players are here. here. I'd like them to stand up, please. My former players. My former players, my friends, and family who are here tonight to help me celebrate this. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I want to end with, again, to give thanks and honor to my Lord Jesus Christ and all who made this night possible. May God bless you all.
Class of 2022 inductee Patrick Williams. Patrick Matthew Williams was born September 3, 1970, in Gadsden to Ted and Betty Williams. Ted had a scholarship offer to play at Vanderbilt University but chose to stay home and pursue a career as a pharmacist at Auburn. Betty served as an aide and a music teacher in the Boaz schools. Patrick has two sisters, Laurel Burns, a fourth grade teacher at Boaz Intermediate School, and Rachel Quarles, an EL teacher in Foley. Patrick participated in baseball and basketball in the Boaz rec leagues. But it was a decision to join the Boaz swim team at the age of 13 that changed the trajectory of his life. Patrick was asked as an eighth grader by Coach Phil Ray to be the manager for the BHS boys basketball team. During the summer between his 8th and 9th grade school years, he decided to follow God's call on his life to be a coach.
In the summer of 1987, Patrick was asked to become an assistant coach for the swim team under his cousin and mentor, head coach Andy Duckett. The next year, Patrick became co-head coach, and the following year was named head coach. He has had 3 stints coaching the Boaz swim team from 1988 to 1996, from 1998 to 2000, and from 2010 to present. Under his leadership, Boaz Swimming has become renowned across the state of Alabama. They have won 9 straight Marshall County Swim Championships. In 2014, they won the Alabama Recreation and Park Association State Championship for municipalities under 15,000. Patrick started the Boaz High School swim team in the early 90s and still helps out with the team. In 2018, the BHS men's swim team won the AHS AA Class 1A through 5A state championship. In 2020 and 2021, they finished as runners-up. Patrick is the all-time winningest swim coach in Marshall County history and is a highly respected member of the swim community in the state of Alabama. His career swim coaching record is 203 and 52. After graduating from Boaz High School in 1988, Patrick signed a women's basketball manager scholarship at Snead State with Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame coach John Kitchens. In 1990, the Lady Parsons won the Region 22 championship and advanced to the NJCAA National Tournament in Tyler, Texas. While at Snead, Patrick began coaching AAU basketball. His Northeast Alabama Stars teams won 3 straight Alabama state championships from 1990 to 1992. They participated in the AAU national tournaments in Shreveport, Louisiana, Charleston, West Virginia, and Amarillo, Texas. Patrick graduated from Snead State in 1990 and was selected as the Boaz JC's Best All-Around Student at graduation.
Patrick transferred to Jacksonville State University in the fall of 1990. While working in the sports information department there, the opportunity came for him to become the public address announcer for football and basketball for the Gamecocks, a position he held from 1991 to 2003 and from 2015 to the present. As the PA announcer for the Gamecocks and Marching Southerners, Patrick has announced the JSU band in some of the great football cathedrals across the South, including Auburn's Jordan-Hare Stadium, Montgomery's Crimson Bowl, Georgia Tech's Bobby Dodd Stadium, Atlanta's Truist Park, and at the FCS National Championship game at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. After graduating from JSU in 1993, Patrick returned to Boaz as an instructional aide at the newly constructed Boaz Middle School. He was the BMS girls coach for 2 years, then was hired at Asbury Junior High as an English teacher and girls basketball coach. In 1999, he also took over the reins of the Asbury boys teams, and in 2001, the Rams won the Marshall County Championship. Patrick returned to Boaz Middle School in the fall of 2001, and he again coached the BMS girls team. From 2001 to 2008, his girls teams won 4 Marshall County championships and an Alabama Sports Festival gold medal. In 2008, he moved up to coach the Boaz High School JV boys. His teams were in the Marshall County Tournament Finals all 4 years of his tenure, winning the title in 2009. He was named the Marshall County JV Coach of the Year in 2009. His basketball career record was 313 and 220.
Patrick, along with longtime friend and broadcast partner Ricky Smith, has been the radio play-by-play voice of the Boaz Pirates for over 25 years. He has broadcasted over 300 consecutive Boaz football games on WBSA radio. In addition to his Boaz radio duties, he has done public address work and radio play-by-play since 1994 at the AHSAA Northeast Regional Tournament at Jacksonville State's Pete Matthews Coliseum. Patrick has done PA work at the AHSAA State Basketball Tournament at the Birmingham Jefferson Legacy Arena every year since 2001. He was the PA announcer for the United States versus Switzerland Davis Cup matches at the BJCC in 2009, the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star Basketball games at the Pelham Civic Center in 2007 and 08, the Auburn versus St. Louis Mike Slive Invitational Basketball game at the BJCC in 2019, the Alabama versus Belmont Rocket City Classic Basketball game at the Von Braun Center in 2019, and the Alabama versus Colorado State C.M. Newton Classic at the BJCC in 2021. Patrick has also broadcast numerous JSU baseball and softball games on ESPN+. After the 2011-12 basketball season, Patrick left the court to become a full-time administrator, first at Boaz Middle School, then at Boaz High School. While serving as assistant principal at Boaz High School, he has been the athletic director for Boaz City Schools for the past 9 years. He has spearheaded a number of athletic projects, including the installation of artificial turf at Corley Stadium. Patrick is a member of the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Board of Directors and is the chairman of the Boaz High School Wall of Fame Committee. In 2018, he was awarded the Alabama Recreation and Park Association's District 2 Merit and Recreation Award. On March 25, 1995, Patrick married the former Lachey Diamond of Albertville. They have 2 children, a deceased son Peyton and a daughter McKenna, who is a law student at Baylor University. The Williams family are active members of Mount Vernon Baptist Church, where Patrick serves as a deacon, adult choir member, and adult Sunday school teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022 inductee, Patrick Williams.
I know the hour is late. I'll be brief. First of all, I'd like to say I'm glad that when this organization was formed, that it was not formed as the Marshall County Athletics Hall of Fame, because as you can see, of all the inductees, I'm the least athletic person standing up here. So thankfully, it says Sports Hall of Fame on the marquee, which I'm very thankful for. I have a few thank yous that I'd like to give out, and then I'll turn it back over to Ricky. As many of our inductees have said tonight, I too would like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for opening and closing doors in my life. I would not be here today without His guidance and leadership in my life. I'd like to thank all of the people who came tonight to support me. I'd like to thank Michael St. John, Bill Yancey, Barry Galloway, and my broadcast partner Ricky Smith for lending their voices to that video. You might recognize the voice on all the other videos. That was me. But I was fortunate enough for all of those men who are my contemporaries in play-by-play broadcasting in this county to be able to do that voiceover, and I was really appreciative of that. I'd like to thank the Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame Selection Committee, the athletic department at Jacksonville State University, athletic director Greg Sykes, assistant AD Dr. Greg Bonds, associate AD for media relations Josh Underwood, former sports information director Mike Galloway, and the director of the Marching Southerners Dr. Ken Bodiford. I'd like to thank all the principals that I've ever worked under, Mr. Bill Aaron, Mr. Mike Little Sr., Mr. Tom Yarbrough, Mr. Ray Landers, Dr. Alan Johnson, Jeff Johnson, Mr. Gary Minnick, Mr. Caleb Pinion, and Mr. Chris Hayes. Assistant principals I've worked with at Boaz High School, Allison Alexander, Christy Hopper, and Misty Summers. I'd like to thank all the basketball coaches, the head basketball coaches that I've been able to work under in my career. Coach Phil Ray, Coach John Kitchens, Coach Gerald Thomas, Coach Tanya Littleton, and Coach Jeremiah Patterson. I'd like to thank all of my former basketball players and managers at both Asbury and Boaz, and all the coaches who have served Boaz High School and Boaz Middle Schools during my tenure as Director of Athletics. I'd like to thank the Boaz Recreation Directors that I've worked for, Philip C., Bill Hamilton, Darrell Nicholson, E.R. Brown, and Sonny McHard. My mentor in swimming, Dr. Andy Duckett. All my former and current assistant swim coaches, Kim Cronut, Jennifer Pierce, Ashley Walls, Kylie Johnston, Dusty Thomas, Casey Shambley, Matt Pendergrass, Josh Lane, Matt Gunther, Avery Williams, McCole Shamley, Alex Park, and Michael Kerr. The hundreds and hundreds of swimmers and parents who have come through our swim program over the last 30 years. I'd like to thank the owners of WBSA Radio, Chris Watkins and Roger Watkins, Mike Harden with Horizon Communications, who introduced Ricky and me to Roger Watkins a long time ago, and our broadcast team, Bubba Riddle and Troy Rogers. I would like to thank my broadcast partner and longtime friend, Ricky Smith. I would not be where I am today without him, and I really appreciate you. I'd like to thank my pastor, his wife, Dr. David and Caleb Martin, who are here tonight, and other members of my church who are in attendance. My mom and dad, Ted Williams and Betty Williams Smith. My stepdad, Melton Smith. My mother-in-law, Cindy Diamond. My sisters, Laurel Burns and Rachel Quarles. And my stepbrothers, my brothers and sisters-in-law, all of my nieces and nephews and their families, many of them who are here tonight in support, and I appreciate that. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my daughter McKenna, who is my sports buddy. Since my son passed away in 2010, she stepped in to fill that void, and it's been a blessing to me. And my wife, Lachey. These two have allowed me to pursue a lot of dreams, and I've been away from home a lot. As you can see, I'm a pretty busy guy, and I've been away from home a lot. Lachey's been a single parent for a lot of our marriage, but they've allowed me to pursue my dreams in a lot of different ways. She's been my most supportive and critical person in my life. I thank you, I love you, and I appreciate you. Marshall County Sports Hall of Fame is a great organization. I'm proud to be a part of the board of directors. I'm proud to MC this banquet most every year that we've had it, except for just a few, and I appreciate Ricky stepping in and just letting me be an inductee tonight. But it's a great organization. Any way that you can find to support it, I encourage you to do that. Come back to these banquets. This is the most folks we've had in a while, this banquet. So it's great to see everybody here. And again, thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
All right, and with that, that's a wrap on this year's 2022 induction banquet. Again, congratulations to all of the inductees, and I hope everyone has a safe trip home. God bless.